This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that far. We keeping the foot on the whoop on the necks. We keeping the foot on the whoop on the necks. And like the Tibetan marriage shift that I am, I'm applying what unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Listen, man, we going to talk about this. I'm going to break this one down in a quick microcosm. The Joker, because I got to talk about him. I'm going to talk about him all day. The Joker said he believes nature is chaos. And it is us that is trying to apply order. But order is not natural. Therefore, our true nature is who we are in chaos. So when the Joker sits here and tells you things that's in regard to chaos, the Joker is basically trying to get you guys to see something. He's trying to get you guys to see a warpness. He's trying to get you guys to see that the system has failed you, that the system has put you in a position to where, therefore, chaos is how you can break from the natural plane on how you see stuff. Fight fans are deluded. Fight fans, 99% of them, like Jay-Z said, are living in delusion. See, they're asking questions about the problem with Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. You have to look at titles. Titles are very key in letting you know where people stand. When you put Terence Crawford in front of Errol Spence, that's where your allegiance is. Anyone that's an Errol the True Spence fan will always put Spence versus Crawford. When you put Crawford versus Spence, you're letting everyone know from a subconscious standpoint, from an indirect standpoint, that your allegiance is with Crawford. Notice there are apologizers in the Ldbc for Terence Crawford. You don't apologize for barking a chihuahua barking behind a damn fence. You don't apologize for that. You see, there's double standards that's associated with this, because they tell you and they make all the excuses and apologize for Deontay Wilder. So many apologizing going on for this guy. But they, on the same end, they always want to get on Errol the True Spence. Or why you don't do 50-50. He's fighting the bigger fights. He's fighting the more heavyweight lifting opponents. Errol the True Spence is fighting all of the big fish. Errol the True Spence is basically cleaning out the division. He's lording over and dominate the division. He's doing what is asked of him and then some. And he did this, mind you, and I want you to let this marinate in your corpus callosum and in your cerebellum. He did this, mind you, after coming out of a car crash. What more do you guys want from this guy? See, this is what fight fans don't want to accept. And then they want to sit here and tell you the problem with Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. No. You have to preference it correctly. If you're going to say the problem with Errol the True Spence versus Terence Dud Crawford. That's the way you title it. That's the only way it should be titled. Because Errol Spence is the A side. When you're the A side, your name and billing needs to be in top position. See, to a lot of people, these even finite details, these technicalities, these semantics are not important. And this is how the blind leading the blind into the ditch can beguile you. Even in these semantics, you guys have to be able to call a spade a spade. Keep it real, keep it a buck, and keep it 100, and see right through the foolishness and right through the nonsense. Spence versus Crawford is not happening because Crawford had no inclinations of fighting Spence in the first place. He was a barking chihuahua from day one, like Hino's Sport told you. And a prediction king strikes it, right? And a prediction king strikes it, right? Hino's Sport told you this stuff, man. I've been telling you this stuff from day one. Because I already saw that the fundamental issue with this fight not happening had nothing to do with Errol the True Spence. Spence has been calling out. He's been G-checking Terence Crawford. And all we see from Terence Crawford is barks, man. This is what chihuahuas do. They bark behind the damn fence. Errol the True Spence wants that third belt. And now you got your Dennis Ugas, who lost all fucking respect in Hino's Sports book. This guy doesn't even want to fight. Now he's saying 50-50. That's what we call ducking in boxing. When you make excuses, it's a duck. Terence Crawford saying that he felt disrespected. Dude, you had a 57K pay-per-view buy. There's no disrespect in that. Now you changed it. Ain't no longer 60-40. Spence is like 70-30. Because I gave you a gracious 40%, biggest payday of your boxing career. You don't want to accept it. Now the terms are 30%. That's really what the negotiation table should start. And once Spence collects his third belt, 80-20, man. Spence versus Crawford is not happening because of Crawford. If you're a fight fan, you know this. If you're using the true boxing eye test, you denote this. You tell this truth. Absence telling this truth. Absence being honest about this. Absence stating the facts that's right in front of your face is absence not being real as a fight fan. This is the problem with fight fans. They don't want to accept the realness that's put in front of them. Errol the True Spence was never the fucking problem. It was Terence but Crawford. Because when Spence met with Crawford and they did the confrontation, that confrontation was prophetic. It told you everything you needed to know. Spence said, I'm going to clean my side of the street up. You need to clean your side of the street. What has Spence been doing? He's been cleaning his side of the street up. What has Terence but Crawford been doing? He's been doing the lack thereof. Terence but Crawford knew he was onto something when he got exposed in the Mean Machine fight. He knew he wasn't ready for Spence then. I think there was a fake bravado with this guy. No, I don't think. I know. There was a fake bravado with him that told him in the back of his corpus callosum and his cerebellum that, oh, if this guy dropped me, shoot, I don't want to go up against Mr. Tactical Aggression. I don't want to go up against Mr. Technical Punching Placement. And I don't want to go up against Mr. Body Snatching Work, the Levian Onslaught, the punishment style. Because if I go up against this guy, I'm going to get exposed. I'm going to get steamrolled. I'm going to get bulldozed. I'm going to get plowed right the freak through. This is what happened with Terence but Crawford. Terence but Crawford was exposed on so many epic levels, so many epic proportions, and so many epic magnitudes. And it caught up to him. So when we look at the delineation, the distinction, the gulf, and the separation that's associated with Spence versus Crawford, it's not a Spence problem. And if fight fans are being honest and real with themselves, they would state this. Spence versus Crawford is the fundamental issue of Crawford. Spence has nothing to do with Terence but Crawford's shortcomings, man. Crawford never wanted Errol the True Spence. He thought Errol the True Spence would be at 154 by now. This is what fight fans need to be telling. This is the truth. Remember, the truth hurts, but it will set you free. And the truth sets free those who want to be free indeed. And the truth will always have its day. And you guys are seeing, as more developments are coming out, Crawford is the one that's folding under the mighty Manonier and the Stormbreaker of the truth. It's the pressurizing version of the truth. Errol the True Spence ain't got time to play with these welterweights, man. He's about to go to 154. But before he goes to 154, he wants to clean out 147. Because he has a mission to become undisputed. And look, these welterweights are holding it up. Why you guys think I said Dennis Ugas wasn't the ideal person for Errol the True Spence? Now you guys are starting to see, damn, he knows the sport is on the wave. He's on the thumb. He's on the needle. He's on the curve of the damn situation. Because he's always right there on what makes sense. I didn't want Dennis Ugas. And look, Dennis Ugas does something that Hino's the sports seer mode and Spidey Sense told you that this fight shouldn't have happened. It should have happened at 154 for no belt. Because look at him, he's feeling himself. You haven't even done a pay-per-view. At least Crawford did a pay-per-view fight. You haven't even done a pay-per-view fight. And you're sitting here running your rabbit-ass mouth and saying, I want 50-52. None of these fighters want to fight Errol the True Spence because they know not only are they going to get the biggest payday, but they're going to get exposed. And after the Spence fight, they're not going to be the same fighter anymore. This is what Derek James was talking about when he says, when you go 12 rounds with Errol the True Spence, you are no longer the same fighter. This is what he's talking about. And this is what's going to happen. So these guys are popping smoke, man. If you want smoke, it's free. But you can't smoke for free. If you want smoke, it's free. But you can't smoke for free. If you want smoke, it's free. But you can't smoke for free. If you want smoke, it's free. But you can't smoke for free. See, the thing with them is they don't want the smoke. They never did. They never had any inclinations or any indications of wanting free smoke because they knew that free smoke was not free. But when they got the free smoke, Errol the True Spence was going to charge and tax their ass in the boxing ring while he gave them the free smoke. They know what Spence is all about. They saw what he did to Danny Garcia. Terence Crawford ain't stupid, because Terence Crawford wanted to see if Danny Garcia was going to be able to do some things to Errol Spence, and that would have gave him a gauging point. When he saw that Spence out counterpunch Danny Garcia is still dealing with welts over his eyes 2 months after he fought Spence. That's why Danny Garcia's rocking shades. Danny Garcia don't rock no damn shades, man, like that. It's because Spence, it damages you on so many levels when he fights you, man. This is why it's a brutalizing and a punishing style, because Spence punishes your rabbit ass. And Terence Crawford knows this. Terence Crawford knows that fighting Errol the True Spence is the end of his boxing career. Your Dennis Ugas knows it too. This is why these guys are ducking Errol the True Spence. But Errol the True Spence that made himself so much of a rock star that no matter how much they're ducking, the fight is going to happen nevertheless. Remember, Hinos Sport is the first one to tell you this. The fight is going to happen. Contrary to conventional wisdom. This is why I tell you guys, you have to break your mind and break your shackles from conventional wisdom thinking. Contrary to all of that nonsense, the fight is still going to happen because Spence is that big of a rock star. He's that big of a star that boxing demands that he has these types of fights. And he has Al Heyman in his corner, the shrewdest businessman who's going to make sure that these fights happen regardless. So it's going to happen. The question is, when? See, these guys, and the way that they're telling you 50-50, they're telling you they're ducking Free Smoke Jr. because they never wanted Free Smoke Jr. in the first place. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat true telefashion. I keep the foot on the what? On the Hicks. I keep the foot on the what? On the Hicks. This is Hinos the Sport. Check it out.